If you want to be successful, find out what the price is and then pay it. Scott Adams. My friends, we see stocks are down for the day. Everything else is up. Bitcoin is a booming, and we will get to that in just a minute. Let's first start with the S&P 500, pulling back 0.13%, so just over 0.1%. We can see on this latest candle that finished drawing today on the 2-day chart that, of course, we have backed way off from that prior Friday, Monday candle. We can see volume is below average. We can see where we are now Wednesday. We could still hit average by the end of the week. But again, the high last week was 510.13. This week, 508.75. So we're not there. And again, does that mean the market has topped? Well, we had all sorts of potential toppers along the way. Heck, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of spinning tops. And then things popped up higher last week. So we'll wait, we'll watch, we'll see. What does go up is supposed to at some point come down. But man, once this thing turned around in late October, early November, it has been going up. But for that first week in January after the Christmas run up, then started again. So we'll see where it goes. We're above the weekly trend line on the 2-day. We can see this half day, how it topped back on Friday and has sort of been moving down and sideways since then. Let's look at the Qs. It was down over 0.5% for the day. And as we look at where things are on the half day, we can see where the Qs peaked on Friday morning, then slid sideways Friday afternoon and Monday morning, Monday afternoon, dropped on Tuesday, dropped on Wednesday. And again, the high last week was 440.59. This week, 438.60. So again, not reaching that high. Could hit the average price. Now, I tell you something that I do find interesting. When you look at where we saw our last average volume, okay? We look at that and the high was 439. That went just a little bit higher that next week, and again a little below average volume. But as we watch things, is it going to die on the vine and rotate its way back over, or is it just going to gin up and go again? Don't know. We'll continue to watch and see what levels in as we get into Thursday and Friday. Does this market start to roll over, go from green to red, maybe get up to average volume and then show us that it's starting to move down? I don't know. Every time you've thought that might be happening, you have been wrong since, like I said, late October, early November. So we'll continue to wait, watch, and see. Stay long as you can. All things being equal, the market tends to move in the direction of what? The largest chart, and that is green. Now, let's see what's up with 20-year bonds, up for the day 0.63%. We look at that 2-day, and we can see the latest 2-day candle, little spinning top there, pushing through the weekly trend line. We can see on the half day where that happened back on Friday and then slid back into the trend line, then popped up this afternoon up 0.63%. So again, we look at where we are this week right now on the weekly chart. And of course, we have a very hard to see any movement at all. What is it? It is, of course, a doji, means lots of indecision. So we'll see how the rest of the week plays out as to whether bonds are going to keep going down or bonds are going to stop that downward movement. We're still red at this point. How about gold? Well, gold trying to move over. We went ahead and redrew the trend line, but honestly, friends, there's not a lot happening. It was up 0.18% for the day after we had, gold back on the week beginning the 12th of February, just about average volume, moved down, looked like, gold had moved up. Of course, we saw at the end of the year and banged its head on this purple line, which we see going all the way back to May of last year, I believe. It has sort of been the spot where gold has stopped, then moved down for 3 weeks, popped up the week of January 29th, died on the vine with average volume, looked like it was going to move over, Would have been nice if we would have had high volume that next week with the red spinning top and then seen it move on down. And then it just sort of stopped and it's just hanging there. Now, I'll tell you what is interesting. This is what gold is. What about GDX, the gold miners? I mean, it connected to gold. It's not gold, but look at it. Just still stroking down. So again, interesting to see what's happening with gold miners as opposed to gold. Not saying they're supposed to be the same, but I'm watching that, paying attention to see if gold is going to stroke it over and gin up some down moves, or what could happen, again, if you keep an eye on GDX, what if GDX just sort of bottoms out? And you can see where the low back on, let me move this up for you, back on February 28 with all that volume, hit a low that week of $25.68. Next week, $26.01. Next week, $25.67. So it's actually gone this week just 1 penny lower. What if gold bottoms out? The gold miners do, and then they start to stroke it up about the time that gold maybe recovers and starts to move up. So I'll pay attention, particularly with this strong volume on a down move, if I see a green candle forming before it goes any lower. So we'll just keep an eye. Again, you're looking for commonalities, for things that make common sense where charts work. So don't know that any of that's going to come to fruition, but I'm paying attention to it right now because gold ain't really telling me anything in and of itself. So it means we don't trade it. It's too questionable at this point. Now let's move to the big dog. We're going to move first to Van Eck Bitcoin Trust. Again, this is a new trust. They got rid of XBTF when you had all the spot Bitcoin ETFs start. So Van Eck closed that and opened the new one. It's only been out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. We're going to have 20 weeks because you have to have 20 the way we have our volume set up. We don't get average volume. It is the average 20 week. We can see you've had 20 periods here on the half-day chart or the 195-minute chart. And we have a little bit of a volume. You can see that black line here. That's a little helpful. Got nothing yet, although it will be coming soon when we hit 20 on the 2-day. But of course, you can see a big spike up. You can see a spike up in the morning on Wednesday, pulling back some in the afternoon, but overall up 5.85%. Bitcoin just a booming. Now we look at the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart, get a little bit better feel. We have average volume in here, so that does help us. Now, it's not the ETF. This is the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart, but it does give us some more information to fill in. We can see all this volume, the prior two-day candles representing Monday and representing Wednesday. And again, this is a 2-day chart. That's Monday, Tuesday. This is Wednesday. So we will pay attention as things continue to move. Look at this. We're only at Wednesday. We're almost up to average volume as it is. So again, Bitcoin just a spike. And how high did Bitcoin get? Look at it, $64,000. Wow, $64,000. Up for the day, 7.33% at this time. So amazing. And of course, when we saw Bitcoin turnaround, of course, nice short-term peak in volume with that drop, turned around with a green candle with average volume, and then on average volume for the next 2, so we had 3 together, just driving up and up even higher and almost up to average volume already. If you jumped into Bitcoin at that time, of course, using the charts, it has rewarded you quite well in your practice trade. If you jumped in back here in September, in October, when things turned around and started moving up, it rewarded you quite well also. So again, Bitcoin has become more trackable over the last many weeks, and that has been good to see because so much of the time, particularly here as of the last year and a half, up until recently, very hard for us to follow. That is where we are, folks, as we end the day. Excited about Bitcoin. And always excited about these charts. Patreon members, we've already uploaded for you at the Patreon site, charting cryptos, commodities, and currencies. We always give it to you early. And, of course, your 3-wave trades, where we have curated multiple liquid stocks with liquid options and liquid ETFs with liquid options from our list that we cull for you, curate for you once a week for you to look at and potentially put on your list to practice trade. Interesting things going on with China funds. Check that out. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters. You appreciate what we do. Become a Patreon sponsor. First thing we'll send you at any of the 3 levels is you're going to get our 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. Check it out.